Hi everyone, welcome to this interview by Core Recruitment. My name is Christian and I'm the founder from a recruitment company called Core Recruitment. Now, normally we do an interview series which features industry leaders from the sectors that we operate in. And this interview is slightly different as we are partnering with Pride in London, an organisation that I am massively proud and passionate of to be involved in. And they're currently doing some board member recruitment, and we wanted to do a little showcase of Pride and talk a little bit about kind of like why they're doing it, why they're recruiting these positions. And I don't know if you've been following in the press recently, but there has been a little bit of change and a little bit of challenge in Pride in London over the past kind of couple of years. And we thought it would be good to kind of like have a little bit of a conversation about that to front end kind of like some of the change which has actually been going on. So we're really lucky to be joined by James, who leads everything people at Pride in London. How are you, James?
Yeah, all good, rocking and rolling, ready to go.
I can see that you're fully branded up today, which is a great thing to do and to get us kicked off. So I guess kind of like if people don't know Pride in London, and it's probably good to have a little bit of a recap, but can you tell us a little bit about the organisation and your mission to get us kicked off?
Yeah, of course. I mean, clearly, obviously, I'm going to start by saying I think it's one of the best prides, if not the best pride in the world. We're going to go, not even go UK, we'll go the world. No, it's a massive event that happens in London. Most people know Pride in London as being that sort of big day that happens usually around sort of summer and sort of July time, and July the 4th this year. And it's all about three main things for us, and the mission is all about kind of visibility, unity, and equality. You know, we really want to use the platform that we have. You know, over 1.7 million people, depending which stats you look at, but it's big. It's, you know, one of the largest single day events that happens in London, and we've got over 35,000 plus in the parade, and we have a really big presence. So we really want to, as part of our mission and our goal, is to have visibility. We want to use our platform to really maximize the visibility of our city's diverse LGBTQIA plus communities. We want to really encourage unity. I think, you know, there's many a conversation we could have about unity within our community, Christian, and that we see in the press, we see around the world. I think we have to be honest and say it's a scary time, but actually what we
Yeah.
stand for and what we're about in Pride is actually, you know, Pride in London is unity, you know, encouraging unity amongst the community by supporting its grassroots. Really happy this year that amongst the press you might have seen, we've committed to Unity Fund this year to having over £100,000 given out to real grassroots communities across London. And I'm very happy to say, exclusive, it's getting through that final sort of stage of things being applied, but we had so many incredible applications, and so many organisations are going to get supported by that funding over the next few months. So watch that space for that bit. That's some great stories coming out from that one, and some really important messages too. And then finally, about equality. You know, we want to campaign for the full and equal rights of LGBTQIA plus individuals by amplifying our collective voice. Can't give a spoiler yet. I think if we were doing this in a month's time, I would be able to have our big sort of campaign that we do. But I think I'm going to say here for you, I'll give you all exclusive today, Christian. I'm going to say here for you that actually this year's campaign as well is really going to be looking at that as well. So that's what we stand for in a nutshell. I mean, it's hard to just limit it to 2 minutes, and you're going to tell me, Christian, it's meant to be a 15-minute chat and I'm going to be waffling on for ages, but I feel so passionate about what we do. And I would just say, you know, hop onto our website to find out more, because we're more than just those three words. We are a massive community that we're all part of, and we want everyone to be a part of.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I first got to London 20 years ago, and my God, my first Pride, I still remember it. My brain
Yeah.
literally blown, you know what I mean? Which is one of the reasons why kind of like, you know, we're really passionate about supporting you guys, and kind of like, you know, and like we do need to discuss kind of like a little bit about the challenge period, which has been going on for kind of like the last little period. And I don't want to dwell on that kind of too much, but maybe if you could just recap on us kind of like, you know, what has happened kind of like in the last 12 to 18 months, and maybe say how hopefully you guys are coming out of this better, stronger, and kind of like a better position to like promote and support your volunteers in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's the key part of the message that you sort of said there is that word community. And that's what it's about, and that's what it should always be about, is how can we best serve and support our community. And I think, you know, the simplest way, or the way for this conversation to sort of reflect on what's happened is actually we've taken a bit of a refresh, of our board level, of our statutory duties, making sure that we're doing everything we should be doing as a CIC, so a community interest company, which some people may think we're a charity, but actually we're a CIC, so the rules are slightly different. But we've really taken a bit of a refresh there. We've got new board members in place, which one of them is myself, including Marcos, Charmaine, Tim, and Rebecca as well. And we really also started to identify what key roles are we missing within the organisation that can really help us best serve the community. So, for example, we brought in a company secretary that we didn't have previously. We've made sure that we've got a new DEI team who are doing amazing work to capture the data and the work that we're doing to improve moving forward. And we've also taken on new volunteers in new roles. And this is what this is part of, is us recognizing actually we've got a really exciting opportunity to make sure to reflect, to look at ourselves. And I think it's important for any organization to do. And I think I look at the news and there's always things happening around the world with different organizations, different charities, different things. And I think it's really important that we all sometimes take time to step back, to reflect, to move forward, and ultimately move forward in a way that best serves everybody. And that's the position we're at now. And that's why I'm so excited about this, because as well as being the sort of people and culture, I'm helping to chair this recruitment subcommittee. And it's exciting hearing people coming forward going, I really want to get involved. I really want to help. I've got this skill set. What can I do? And we are a wide open door. We're saying, come on, let's hear these voices. Let's move forward together. Let's learn, and let's become a better organization together for the community.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, you get 35,000 people in the parade every year, which is just a staggering kind of like amount, which is crazy.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And over 1.7 million people who visit kind of like in total. Again, the numbers from that and the logistics of that are just absolutely staggering. I know from being involved in kind of previous years. So regarding the main event and kind of like what we can expect and what we can look forward to this year, can you tell us a bit about that?
Oh, you want all the gossip, don't you? That's it. No, do you know what? I all I can say is every single year we did a volunteer recruitment video, which hopefully we'll be able to share wider. We did it internally, and there is someone that's been in Pride for the last 10 years, and they've done various different roles, from being, a flag bearer to being parade steward to being in the squares, which is where our stages and our areas are. And, they said the words, every single year, it just gets better. And that for me is how I feel about this year and every year. But is actually all I can say to you is, if you've never been, wear some good walking shoes. Make sure you got your sun cream or your raincoat. It's London. Who knows what's going to happen? And just be prepared for an absolute adventure. And I would say what to expect this year is to expect to feel part of something magical. And I think that's what the event is about.
Excellent. Now, volunteering is kind of like, because just to absolutely clarify with this, the board positions that you are looking to kind of attract at the moment, and yourself, you're a volunteer, you do not get paid to kind of like, do and kind of like, contribute to this. And just tell me a bit about why you do it, James. And because it's not an easy thing. I'm sure managing the whole process for the past 12 months has not been an easy time, and doing that on top of what is a very full-on day job. I think you deserve a medal personally, but it's kind of like one of those things. But can you tell us a little bit about what you get out of volunteering, and just because that might kind of like resonate with people who are considering whether they might want to apply for board member roles or not?
Yeah, and I thinking about that, I think there are multiple reasons, but I think two or a couple sort of stand out for me. And one actually really resonates me with this week when we're doing this recording. It's Lesbian Visibility Week at the moment, and I went to an event held by Diva at the House of Commons. It was absolutely honoured to be there, and there was this massive message on the wall and Lady Phil and all these amazing speakers were talking about, and something that really resonated to me was the word visibility matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, that's one of the reasons I step forward and I do what I do. Obviously, I love volunteering. I love being part of that. But actually, growing up, I believe you can't be what you don't see. And
Mm.
growing up, I didn't see anybody who was sort of open and proud in the way that I am lucky and fortunate enough to be able to be now. And so actually for me, why I volunteer, particularly with this organisation and for this community, is because I think visibility matters. It's about stepping forward. It's about showing up. It's about using your voice. So that's one of the reasons why I volunteer. And I think for me, one of the reasons why I do Pride in London, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is you create something so special. I spent many hours doing some volunteer stuff. I spent many hours replying to emails, doing all the, meeting incredible volunteers, chatting to people. But last year, I remember walking down a parade route, saying hello to everybody, and I met this woman, and she'd been on a training course with me previously. And she went on this training course with me, and we do an on the day course for about an hour, telling them all what happens. And halfway through the call, she goes, "Can I volunteer because I'm straight?" Was the word she said. I'm straight. I'm not gay, but can I still be here? And we said, of course. Like, you're an ally. That is massively important as well. And we asked, would you like to share why you come forward, why you volunteered? And she said her son had just come out and he had a really difficult time at school and people didn't really accept him. And this was her way of showing up. And this was her way of putting her voice forward and showing that he did matter. On the parade day, when I was walking down, I saw her again. And opposite her, the other side of the barrier, was her son with all his friends. And this mum had turned up, and I didn't realise, but she'd actually volunteered with all her friends as well. And they were just cheering and supporting and hugging and loving. And that's also why I volunteer, because we, as a team, as an organization, help create little moments like that. And you create the spaces for people to feel loved and accepted. And that's so powerful. So I think for me, it's those two main reasons. It's that message of being visible and showing up ourselves, because it's important that we do when we can, and for those who can't. And also this organisation particularly, because you create such little magical moments like that for people for the first time who feel that they can be themselves. The amount of times, Christian, that we do this event and people tell us, wow, Pride London was the first time that I felt accepted, or it was my first Pride, it was the first time that I felt I could be who I am. And yeah, long-winded answer, apologies, but I think that's also why I volunteer, for those moments.
That was a brilliant answer. My God, I mean, if you're watching this and you're now not inspired to apply, then I don't know what is going to work for you. So coming on to the nuts and bolts of this, kind of like, so we're assisting in, and it's multiple board members that you're recruiting for at the moment. And I have to say that a lot of the skill set that's been coming in is about rigor, it's about governance, it's about process, it's about kind of like, it's really about putting those fundamental kind of like building blocks in place is what you're looking for. And like we've been speaking a lot about the vetting process, which is going to be happening to making sure that the individuals who go into these roles are reference checked and assessed properly and all of that kind of side of things as well. But particularly kind of like, can you talk us through the skills and knowledge that you're looking to kind of like import to add into the organization with these positions? That'd be great.
Yeah, and I think reflecting on what we need best or how we can further strengthen the team. I think the four areas that we're really looking for, particularly, are finance. So people who've got some finance knowledge, potentially someone to take on a treasurer role in our CSE as well. Business development and partnerships knowledge, legal knowledge, and also public affairs. So those are the kind of skills that we're particularly looking for. But I'll always caveat that, Christian, by also saying those are the skills. That's 50%, but I also think the other 50% is passion as well.
Absolutely. And when you are volunteering, because I mean, most people, I mean, and you do this as well, you have a gay job, you have a day job, you have that kind of side of things. But kind of like how much time commitment are you kind of like looking for people, and does that vary kind of throughout the year?
Yeah, massively. I think, as we run up to the event, and this is one of the reasons why, because some people might be sitting there thinking, why on earth are you putting a board recruitment campaign with about a month to go? Are you crazy? But I think it's also important about knowing that there will be people who potentially haven't actually turned up to Pride before, might have, done it in different ways. So actually we're doing it so that hopefully we can get these people in so they can experience Pride from the back end, if you like, and see the kind of the nuts and bolts that happen to create that event. So it definitely ramps up sort of from January, February onwards. And there's always things happening throughout the year, obviously, because we're not just that one day event. There's things happening throughout the year. But also um, during the sort of after Pride, it slows down a little bit, but you're probably looking at initially kind of anywhere between 4 to 6 hours a week in the sort of busy times in this role, but it does vary as well. So I think it's about people recognizing that there is a commitment and a time commitment needed to this, particularly as we go through these growing of a team. We're going to need more time together.
Absolutely. And do you tend, with these board level positions, do you tend to have them on a rotation? Like, is there a minimum amount of time that somebody needs to kind of like commit for? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Or are you happy to have people involved in the organization for as happy as they're happy to be part of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with all sort of board level sort of recruitments, there's a time frame that you sort of have and you sort of stick to. But also, we always want everyone in their volunteer role to kind of be with us, as long as they can and the rules allow. But also, this is a role that ideally wants someone at least to have that year commitment with to help us build and grow together. So I think if it's something someone goes, oh, I've got 2 months spare, let me dip in there. This might not be the right role, but that's not to say there isn't a role we can do to support and find you. And I am big at finding anyone who wants to help a role. I will find a way to make it work.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, because like in terms of volunteers, I mean, just to get an idea, how many volunteers do you have for Pride in London every year approximately?
So well over 1,000 in total on the day, and then all core, or we kind of say people do it all year round, is over 100 to 150.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. People are so happy, and thank you very much for if there's any volunteers watching, kind of like on that side of things as well. So regarding the recruitment process in terms of these positions, can you just talk us through kind of like, what you've put together in terms of timescale?
Yeah, of course. So we're working at the roles obviously going live over sort of this week for about 3 weeks or so, give or take. And then we're looking at closing those roles currently at kind of around 17th of May sort of timescale. I'm always saying around because things sometimes slightly change if things sort of come through, but we're saying around 17th of May to sort of close it. And there's then going to be an independent, and that's really important that this whole process, that's why we've got the fantastic core recruitment supporting with us with this as well. It's really important that there is an independent, impartial voice throughout this process as well. So we've got shortlisting happening sort of over mid-May time towards the end of May, and then we're going to get those interviews in on around the beginning of June time, with those appointments being made the second sort of week of June to get people onboarded, with hopefully our new chair supporting in that process as well.
Excellent. That's great. Well, look, there's lots more information that you can find on the core recruitment website, also on the Pride in London website as well. Kind of like if you need any more information about the positions, even if you're not 100% sure if you want to apply and you just want to send through a note, then we're happy to share some more information with you kind of like about those positions. And maybe you might be able to recommend other people within the community or outside the community who just want to get involved and support the community on that side of things as well. But James, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your volunteering, your commitment, and your passion. Because I mean, I've seen you guys kind of like a lot over the past kind of like 12 months, and I have to say I know it has not been easy. And I think that kind of like your commitment has been incredible, and I'm really looking forward to a fantastic Pride this year.
Bring it on. I'm so excited. And yeah, please, just anyone who's thinking about it, reach out, get involved, and let's be that organization for the community that we're all about.